Okay, now I'm going to talk about the first sort of perspectives that you get when you start to exit your body. As you start to get your first astral projections, this is what it's going to be like. If you've ever had sleep paralysis, that is exactly what the first stages are like. Okay, so you end up waking up and you can't move, but you're not exactly in waking reality. You're in the dream world, but you're just in the dream world in the same exact situation. So that's sleep paralysis. You can't move. You feel like a demon's going to attack you. You start getting real scared because you can't move and you're in a black void. Okay, that's the surface level black void when you're in sleep paralysis. It's not like you just close your eyes. It's that you're actually in the dream world, but you're in a black void in the dream world. Okay, so what happens is, let's say we got sleep paralysis right here. Okay, this is level 1, sleep paralysis. All right, so boom, you get to sleep paralysis. Now, if you can stay calm during sleep paralysis, all right, so this is level 1 of astral projection. This is when you've trained your brain enough to get to this stage. This is the beginning stages of REM sleep, okay? So congratulations if you got here. This is where you have trained your brain to be able to be consciously aware entering REM sleep in the very beginning stages. Now, this is where a lot of people can get stuck and have a hard time progressing past this point because it is extremely nerve-wracking. You're experiencing something that is very out of the norm from what you're used to experiencing in reality. So if you can stay calm during this stage, which honestly, it comes with time, you feel me? It's not something that you're just gonna be able to get on the first try because you say, I'm ready this time, I'm not gonna be scared. It doesn't work like that. You gotta get your amygdala used to dealing with this fear. So once you get that down for a while, you go to stage 2. Now, the way you get to stage 2, okay, I'm very advanced, so I just skip all these stages. But when I was a beginner, when you're at this stage right here, stage 1, the sleep paralysis, this is where you need to generate movement, feelings. One thing that you could do is a rotational feeling, like you're spinning in bed, like you're here, right? Or whatever, I'm looking through the camera. And then you're here, and then your arms are facing that way, and then they're facing this way. You're rotating, you're spinning in bed, literally spinning like you're rolling on the ground. Okay, that's one sensation that you're not going to actually roll off the bed. You will stay in this same spot, just rotating around. And that is one sort of sensation that you can imagine when you're in the sleep paralysis stage to get you to really rip out. Because what happens is, if you're still in this position, you might not necessarily be able to see anything. It's only when you start getting your body away from where you're laying in bed that you will be able to start to open your astral eyes and be able to see the inside of your room and see what's going on. You have to get away from your body. Okay? Now, you could do this rotation thing. As I said in the first video about this, you can actually, if this is the ceiling, you can actually imagine floating towards the ceiling. That is one thing that you can get your body to do. So you could try to focus on going towards the ceiling, or you could try to focus on literally just doing this. Just literally flying straight out. You can focus on getting out of bed and standing up out of bed on the side of your bed. That's one thing you can focus on doing. Now, it is actually gonna feel like you're doing these movements at this point. You are no longer awake. Your body is paralyzed. Your nervous system is shut off at this stage. Your nervous system has temporarily paralyzed your limbs, all your main muscles. So when you're acting out things in REM sleep, you're not actually doing it in real life. So at this stage, you are now paralyzed. So any of these movements that you generate, that you start to feel, it can be kind of scary because you might think that you're actually doing it in real life. Like even to this day, I'm very advanced. Sometimes when I do it this way, where I get out of bed, sometimes I'm like, I feel like I'm super drunk and I can barely see anything. And I feel like I'm actually awake in real life. So sometimes it's, even to this day, after 700 astral projections, it's such a convincing, realistic feeling that sometimes I'm halfway scared that I'm awake and I'm going to fall and hit my head on the ground. So you have to become very familiar with this feeling of knowing when you're in this stage. When you become very familiar of that, and you can start to push away. This is how I usually do it at this point. I usually just go away, or I just absolutely teleport to a completely different location outside somewhere that's nowhere near my body. Okay, this is how I prefer to do it at this point. But I do it like this half the time because I can't actually do it like that all the time. So okay, when you start to push this way and you start to be able to see the inside of your room, like say you're going towards your door, right? You'll be able to see your door, or maybe your door will be open and you just start pushing out. When you start to get to your door, you'll start to be able to see things. Like to your hallway, I would say from my experience, anywhere from 10 to 25 feet away from your body is when you start to be able to get a lot of vision of what's happening. You'll be able to start to see things. You won't just be in the black void sleep paralysis anymore. All right, so that's stage 2. Stage 2 is when you start to get away and you start to be able to see things.